Hello everybody. In this video we will see how to use the invoicing tool. So let's start. We will open the invoicing tool. It's a macro enabled workbook, and the first time you will open it, since the database is empty, you will get a message. Just press OK. Now the tool has 4 main sheets. It has a configuration sheet, set invoice sheet, a dashboard sheet, and a database sheet. We will start with the configuration sheet. In the configuration sheet, you have the possibility to set the details that will be used later on in creating the invoice. There are 5 sections or 5 different tabs. In the first tab, you can set up the details for your own company. So to write down the details of the name of your company, the VAT code, address, bank details, and some details about the accountant or the representative of your company. In the next tab, you have the possibility to set and record all the customers for which you want to generate invoices. So here you have the customer name, the VAT code if the customer has something like that. If not, just write an A, the address, and some details about extra details about the address. The third tab is the invoice format. This is very important because all your invoices will have a series, need to have a series and a unique number. The series that you want to use on your invoices, you just change here the letters that you want to use, and for the number, just write how many characters you want to have and the starting point, so the start number for your invoice. Then on the next tab, on the fourth tab, you have the products and services that you are providing. So here you just write down the details of everything that you provide. Here the name of the service, the unit, if the service has a unit, and for each service there is a specific VAT code. If it doesn't have a VAT percentage, if it doesn't have any VAT, then you just write 0% and this will be used. In the last tab, we have the printers that are automatically generated and the printer that will be used to print. Okay, for generating the first invoice, let's make a few modifications. We go to the customers and let's write here the first customer. For example, it will be IBM. This one will not have any VAT number. And the second customer, let's write here Microsoft. And this will have a VAT number, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the country, let's modify also this. The first one will be in the USA and second one will be in Ireland, for example. And one other important thing is that you can extend this list at any time. So you can also write some extra companies here. Extra company 1, extra company 2, and so on. And now let's create our first invoice. We go to the set invoice sheet, and here you will see that the set invoice has 2 main parts. On the left side you have the buttons and the selection group, and on the right side you have the actual invoice that will be printed later on. So in the actual invoice we have several main fields. We have the series and number that we just configured previously. We have the invoice date, the due date, and then we have the details about our company, so the freelancer details. And on the right side we have the customer details. Now, since no customer is selected here, this section is currently empty. So let's select the first customer. We go to the left side and we select, for example, IBM. And now the details about IBM appear here. IBM, since it's based in the USA, uses USD. And now we can start writing the details of this invoice. We need to add a few services that we provided. And when you add a service, you will be notified with this light blue color that you need to fill in those fields. So right now we need to fill in the quantity and the unit price. Let's say that we worked 45 hours and 30 US dollar per hour is our rate, and this will automatically calculate details. And also here you need to write the exchange rate. Okay, and now you can save the invoice. After saving the invoice, we will be prompted with the message that now the invoice is stored in the database. Press OK. Now let's print the invoice. Press the print button. We select a name, and after it is generated, let's take a look how it looks like. Here it is, and this is the generated invoice. Now let's go back to the set invoice sheet and generate another invoice, this time for another customer. Let's take Microsoft this one. We see that here in the VAT code it appeared before it was empty, and now the number that we defined in the configuration sheet appeared here. Okay, but to generate a new invoice, we need to press first the new invoice button, and then we can select the customer. We have here the configured VAT code, and since it's a customer located in Europe, we will use euros in this case. Let's add some services. Quantity 5, unit price 50, for example, and since it's the same currency as the one that we have configured in our country currency, no exchange rate is needed in this case, so we can save now the invoice. Okay, and now since we have two invoices already in our database, let's see them how they look like in the database. Here they are, the two invoices that we just created. We can also check some details about the income statistics in the dashboard sheet. So now if we go to the dashboard sheet, we see that we have already two customers, and each of these customers has an income based on the invoice that we just generated. Now in the dashboard sheet, we can, if we would have more data, we would be able to see a bit more, but now since we have only two, let's see what we can do here. So in the date slicer, we can select only the months where we want to see what happened. So what is the statistics for that given month. If we go to February, we will see these two. If we go to January, we will see nothing, of course, and we can select even more months. We can also check the details based on the customers. So we want to see, for example, only this customer, then we press the filter from here. If we want to see the other customer, we press the filter from here. And similar to this, we also have the possibility to see the different invoices. So invoice 1 and invoice 2. Okay, so now we saw also the dashboard. Another important feature of the tool is the update of the invoices. So for that, we go back to the set invoice sheet. And in case you realize that something is wrong on an already generated invoice, you have the possibility to correct it. For that, you need to press the Show Invoice button. Here, a list will appear with all the invoices that you have already stored in a database. And let's say that you want to correct something on the first invoice, we select it. And now the details of the first invoice will appear in our fields, and we realized that something was wrong. The quantity was not 45, it was actually 85 hours. And after we made this correction, we just need to save it. You will be prompted with a message if you want to override the data in the database. We will press yes. And now this updated invoice will be saved in the database, and we can also check if this indeed happened. Okay, for this we go back to the dashboard sheet, and now we clear all the filters that we have, and you see that for the first invoice this value has been updated based on what we just changed. So here it is. And that's about it. So hope you will be able to enjoy using the tool and generate a lot of invoices with it. Thank you.